Hey everybody, hey, this is season 4 of the ASKFARIS show, and I am super excited about tonight's guest. Tonight's guest has been a mentor to me throughout my Air Force career. He has so much experience, and I'm super excited to introduce you all to none other than Bob Vasquez, Chief Retired Bob Vasquez. Welcome, Chief. How you doing today?
I'm great, man. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while.
I know, man. You saw me
Not at the gates anymore, man.
You say what?
We're not at the gates anymore.
I know, man. Look, you saw me when I was young, just very naive at the gates, waving people in. And I think you were one of the first person that actually came in with a smile. I was like, oh, they smile in the military?
Yeah.
Man, Chief, I'm super excited about actually having you on board tonight. And I know many people that may not be military associated or may not understand why I'm calling Bob Chief is because Bob has actually achieved the highest rank in the Air Force as far as enlisted personnel is the E9. And that's something that's so admirable. So I wanted to bring him on tonight just to talk about his road to Chief and how, as entrepreneurs, we can relate to that road as well. So, Bob, Chief, if you could start off telling us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and we'll keep it going from there.
Yeah, I'm from New Mexico originally, from a little town named Deming. It's about 10, 15 miles from the southern border, almost Mexico.
Yeah.
I grew up there for about 18 years or so. Then I went to school in New Mexico State for a couple of years. And that was in 1970, 1971, 72. About around that time, Flo, we had what we called the draft. You don't know nothing about that.
For my time.
We had it, man. And I had a deferment while I was going to school. All of a sudden, it got pulled. I don't know why. I have no idea. But I was about to get drafted. And I said, nah, man, I don't want to join the Army because, I'll be going to Vietnam. And so I joined the Air Force band. I was a musician. I was studying music and got lucky and got auditioned, and I joined the Air Force band.
Wow.
But it's funny because my lovely bride gives me a hard time sometimes because she's got this letter that I wrote her once saying, "I'm out of here, man. I hate it. This place sucks." And here I am, 47 years later. I'm still doing it.
Wow.
But what kindled the fire, Flo, I was just thinking about this today, is that, as a musician, all of us who have been in the band, our band directors have a huge impact and influence on us,
yes.
as mine did.
Yes.
But, and he did until he died about 4 years ago. But one time, while we were and I was walking the halls or something, and I overheard him say something that really touched me, man, and not in a positive way. He said, all Mexicans are just plain lazy.
Wow.
And that hit me, man. And, and he didn't say it to me. He was saying it to somebody else, and probably out of context, but I heard the words come out of his mouth. And that day I said, man, I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to work as hard as I can. And I had already started. My dad, my uncles had taught me the work ethic, but that was a challenge. I said, man, whatever I do, I'm going to go all in, 100%. And I did, and eventually I made the top 1% in the enlisted force,
Wow.
And I remember going back and showing him my stripes, I never told him about me hearing him, but he was pretty proud of me that I made it to the top. And that's what it's like, you get some kind of something that fires you up and pursue it, man. And I think the work ethic is the best, if you're willing to work.
And I want to jump in right there because one thing I think a lot of times, especially as entrepreneurs, and I wore the hat as military and entrepreneur, and I think as entrepreneurs, sometimes we hit that first obstacle, and once we hit that obstacle, sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, sometimes people retreat, but you utilize what you heard, even if it was indirectly, you used what you heard, and you actually allowed it to go through and motivate you. And where others would go through and actually have a different approach. So your vision or your perception of it was different. Like, what do you attribute that by? Is that something like is how you were raised, or just something that was innate within you, or like what allowed you to see it from a different point of view?
Part of it is how I was raised, Flo, but part of it, I think, is it gave me a purpose. And one purpose was to show him up, to show him that I could do my best and be good at whatever I did. And the other part, and that evolved eventually, is to doing my best. Whatever it is I do, and that's my all-in thing, I give 100%. And that's all I got, And when at the end of the game, man, I'm done. I left it all on the field. I left it all on the court. And I think no matter whether you're in business, whether you're in arts, whatever you're doing, if you're not willing to make that sacrifice of whatever that is, that purpose, what, you know, and it may be to make money. I'm not much into making money, but you know what? I got money. You know, I've never had to worry about money because my purpose was something different. It was to make have an influence on people like you. I mean, look at the great stuff you're doing. Look at the great stuff Bush is doing. I have been blessed, man, with being able to touch a lot of people who are great people. And all I did was encourage them. All I did was give them all I had, whatever it was. You remember that? You still owe me you still owe me lunch, man.
I do.
You know?
I do. Look, I'm gonna have to Uber eat it to you. Just send it to you via Uber Eats.
But I'll tell you what. You just invite me there. We'll go to Chick-fil-A or Bojangles. You guys got Bojangles?
We have Bojangles too. And,
okay.
and what you just said, I don't know if my audience caught what you just said, because I think a lot of times people think about getting in the limelight. People think about the glitz and the glam. People think about, okay, well, I want to be that big entrepreneur. But there's so many people along your path that has supported you. And that's one thing I wholeheartedly believe, that I'm not where I am today just because of what I did. It's because what my mother did, what my father did, what my surroundings, my community, individuals I met along the way, the simple things that people actually said along the way. These are the things that actually shape who we are today as entrepreneurs. And that's something that we can never forget. So it's just like Chief said, it's not all about the money. It's about the mission. It's about the mission. And once you go through and define your mission, that's what's going to go through and kind of continue to drive your purpose. And Chief, I know on your road to E9, on your road to Chief, when did you realize your mission? When did you actually, did you have an aha moment, or did you know it from the beginning?
You know, I think it evolved, Flo. You know, the reason we stay in the military, and I don't remember how long you stayed, but you stayed quite a while. You know, again, 47 years. I'm thinking about making it a career, man. Okay, I'm not sure yet. So I'm thinking, but what has kept me here and doing what I'm doing is the people. You know, I give them all I've got, and they give all they've got. It's just kind of a reciprocal thing. Whatever you give is what you're going to get.
Wow.
And if you take care of the people, they'll take care of you. You know, it's like the money thing. I don't need money because it always seems somehow I make more money, even when I don't intend to do that. Exactly. But it's because my purpose is to take care of the people. Here's the thing: in the business sense, I learned this from Stephen Covey. You may have heard of him.
Yes.
Great man. I had the opportunity to study with him a couple of times.
Oh, wow.
But he taught me that amateurs sell products. Professionals sell solutions.
Wow.
No, wow. If you come to me and you need something, I can sell you or give you that thing, whatever it is. But if I don't know why you're wanting to use it or how you're going to use it, then there's no, you know, that's the solution. I have a longer story, but I bought a chainsaw when I first got here. I live in Colorado, and when I first got here, I bought a chainsaw over at Home Depot, and I went like 3 or 4 times back, got this piece, where the guy could have said, "What are you trying to do?" "I'm trying to cut a tree." "Okay, you'll need this, you'll need that, you'll need this," and I would have made 1 trip instead of 5 or 6 trips because I got frustrated at the end, you know. And you know, and I tell that story. I've told that story for 20 years now.
Wow.
But if you know, whatever it is, sir, what are you trying to do?
That's it.
"I'm trying to build a house." "Okay, you're going to need this material, you're going to need this material, you're going to need this resources, all of these time, all of that kind of stuff, and I can guide you through that, or you can get it over there. You know, that's the worst thing. I go to, you know, a store and where can I find the nails? "Well, they're over there." I'm out. I go find somebody that says, "Let me show you, sir. What kind of nails do you want? What do you need? You know, what do you want trying to do? You need big nails, little nails? If you tell me what you're wanting to do, I can help you and give you the right ones, and that way we're done, you know." And you know what we do? You know this, Flo, is we talk.
That's it.
Right? Hey, Chief, what do you think, man? I need to build something. I need nails. "Well, go get them. Go talk to this guy." You know?
Exactly.
That's how it works, and it's all word of mouth. I know if you got any marketing folks out there, they're probably wanting to pitch their stuff, but you know, it's word of mouth because that's the way we do it. You need something, I'm gonna call you, or you're gonna call me.
And Chief, that's what you said. I really like that. Amateurs, they sell products. Professionals sell solutions, and that's one thing is I want our entrepreneurs to go through and think about that. If we're out there trying to go through and push a product without actually hearing what our customers, what our audience, what our community is actually needing, they don't need what we want to sell them. They need a solution to their problem, not the product that we want to sell them. So we have to be in tune to listening to actually what they're desiring as well. And these are the lessons. And you said you studied up under Stephen Covey. he wrote the seven effective.
Seven Habits of Highly Effective People.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, and that's a must-read book. And moving right along, I know we're talking about that road to E9. Chief is he authored many different books as well. I know you gave me when I made staff sergeant. I think it was sergeant. I think you wrote a book, sergeant or SGT. That's something that I received from him. But my thing is, Chief is an author. He's a well-known speaker, renowned speaker. He actually shapes the minds of our next leaders within the Air Force. And let's talk about, let's kind of move towards that leadership standpoint. What actually, what made you kind of, after you retired, you serviced your country for 31 years. You could have kicked up your boots and said, you know what, I'm back in Colorado, I'm going to back to New Mexico. Debbie and I, we're just going to have a great time. We're going to relax. What made you go into fifth year and say, you know what, my service is not finished yet?
Well, you know, the Creator puts us here for a purpose, Flo. You know, we've talked about that, I think, at Brigade probably. Yeah. And our purpose, my purpose is to give, to love, you know. Anything that I get until the day I can't breathe no more, man, I'm all in. I'll give everybody the benefit of what I have, which is not a whole heck of a lot. Other than, you know, I've thought a lot about stuff. I've watched a lot. I've written a few things, and, you know, I'll give whatever I can. By the way, I got a new book coming out. It's called The Power of Supervision.
Wow.
It has to do with how supervisors see their people and how powerful that can be. So it'll be on Amazon probably in the middle of next month, something like that. So I'm not trying to pitch that. I'm just telling you, hey, it's available. Okay.
I'll definitely include a link on this as well, because my thing is, what you're doing, I think there's so much leadership that's within you. You're shaping the next level leaders, but these same principles, they're not just for military. They're for every industry. They're not just related to a specific industry. And I think as leaders, we could go through and actually learn from that. If you could tell me about one story. I know you shaped many minds, many hearts of young lieutenants, young airmen throughout your career. Tell me about one story that kind of stands out in your mind, of one story where you imparted that and you saw it blossom. You kind of put a seed into something. I know a lot of times you're like, man, you probably underplay a lot of things that you do. But my thing, tell about one success story that you know that you can attribute to some of the things that you've actually imparted into us as leaders, and me personally as well.
Yeah. But man, now you stumped me, man. You want me to tell a story? I can't. That's what I do for a living. I can't think of one. But you know, all of it. We're all a story, though. You know, we're all a story. We're constantly being growing into whatever the next chapter is. You know, and you know, going back to what you were talking about a second ago about purpose. The highest purpose I think any of us can have, the highest principle we can live by, I think you used that P word, is love. You know, and I think my purpose, my idea of love is unconditional giving. Wow. You know, we need it, man. We need love right now, man. Yes. The country's going to crap. The world is going to crap because we're hating. I mean, you can't turn around without finding a hater. Correct. Someone else, or yes. Even me. You know, I'm sure I have haters, yes. But we've got to get to that point where we can love each other, man. And you know, I'm honored that people say the cadets love you, man. Well, if they do, it's because I love them first.
Wow.
You know, and you know, again, thinking about it as unconditional giving. Whatever I got, well, and here's a good example. I had a cadet come by the other day, and as he was running, I mean, not kidding, literally running across by my door. I said, "Are you okay, man?" He said, yes, sir, but I'm hungry. I ordered some food over to the Subway, and but I don't have my money. Any money? I left my wallet at the dorm, so I'm running to go get my money. Stop! Here, how much do you need? Well, I don't know. Here, take what I got. And I had $20 or something. Again, here, take it. Oh, thank you, Chief. That's it, man.
Wow.
That's it, you know. Wow. And later he came back and he said, I'll pay you later. You don't have to pay me, man. That was on me. But, you know, and I know I'm not boasting because, you know, that's not my
exactly
my thing. But we all should be doing that. We all should be taking care of everyone else. And everyone should know that there's someone who will take care of them, you know.
And Chief, I know I asked you the story about who you impact, but I'm gonna tell you a story because I know you may not remember, and I know your wife probably don't remember it as well. I remember, of course, I met Chief when I was actually, I was stationed at the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. And initially as a security forces member, military police, you start off on the gates as a gate guard. And of course the weather in Colorado, you have your winter, you have all your different seasons as well. But I remember too many times that Chief or his wife, both of them have done it before. But I remember Miss Debbie one time coming through the gate, having some coffee, and I'm out there freezing. I'm a Georgia boy out in cold Colorado trying to wave people in, and because you have to be outside the guard shack, etc. But I remember times where she would come in and actually give a warm smile and a cup of coffee, or to go through and just simply ask how you doing, or have that conversation, because sometimes it gets lonely out there by yourself. And those are the things what I realized that, of course, they didn't have to do this, but the selflessness, it made me feel like, you know what, I'm important, regardless if I'm an E1 or E2 or E3 or whatever I was back then. I'm equally as important. I don't have to have rink on my shoulders. I don't have to have stars on my hat or nothing like that to be important, but he made me feel important. And that's one thing that along this journey, that's one of the missions that I have. I try to go through and remain humble and selfless, to go through and make, regardless of what a person's position within an organization is, regardless of what a person does for a living or how much money they make or have or don't have, I try to go through and actually put that smile on their face. And these are things that I attribute just because in passing, I saw it. And when you see things, especially as young people, when we see things, we can emulate that. And it's important for us as entrepreneurs not to just go through and show people we can get money, but how we can go through and do something of value with that, how we can go through. And even if it's not money, even if it's time, even if it's a smile, even if it's a conversation. And that's, Chief and I, we've had many conversations along the years, and I've never got a chance to go through and tell you, but I really appreciate that, Chief, as well, and your wife.
You know, we don't do it for that. We don't do it because you appreciate it. We do it because it's the right thing to do. Integrity, and because we love you, man. You know, we love each other.
Yes.
So speaking of valuing, a good friend of mine, Simon Sinek, you've heard of him.
Yes, yes.
He says that people just want to be valued and valuable. You know, and when you value people, they become valuable, because that frees them up to be who they are, to do whatever they need to do. I started this thing today called Think and Thank Thursday. It's about gratitude. And what I do is I send out a note about someone that I care about a lot and I appreciate. And it happened to be my Cuban mate, Tech Sergeant Eldon Bagarigan. Good man, good man. But I was reminded that Maya Angelou says something to the effect of, people won't remember what you did or where you went or what you said, but they'll always remember how you made them feel.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
That is critical, man. And it doesn't take much sometimes. I've said this for 17 years. You will never find a cadet on the terrazzo standing next to me who's not smiling.
Wow.
17 years I have lived up to that. Wow. And I've been on that terrazzo when the snow was coming like sideways. You don't remember those days. And we're still smiling, man. We're still smiling because that, you know, again, that's just love, man. You know, we need it. We need it. Whether it's in business, just seeing someone down the, you know, there's some, I know you're living in Atlanta, right? Or near Atlanta?
Yes, right outside Atlanta, yes.
You know, big city, so maybe people don't say hello to each other. I don't know, but they're Southerners. Southerners are usually pretty cordial and friendly. But in the big city, people don't do that. I do that to everybody. I scare people, you know. Hey, how are you? Whoa. Especially in some places, they see this Mexican man. You know what I'm saying? But it all ends up with love, man. It's the big L word.
Man,
you just gotta love each other and share that, you know. And again, in business, I'm an Apple guy. I'm a fanboy.
Yes.
And I know I've read Steve Jobs, and I've read about indeed. His, you know, he had his methods were not always the best. I'm sure we're all fallible. But his purpose was, you know, his purpose was to make a dent in the universe. Apple is known for, like we were talking about, the product, the solution, selling the solution, how we do it. You know, I don't know how many gigs my computer has. I don't know how many things it has inside or anything, but I know it lets me do what I need to do. You know, that's a solution. That's not a product. The product goes with it, and you know they make a lot of money, Apple. But nonetheless, I think they got it right as far as business. Our job, our purpose is to make your life better.
Yes.
How do we do that? A quick story. Or here's a quick story. This is not mine, but it's a quick story. Tom Peters tells this. Hiroshi Yamauchi used to run Nintendo. He was the CEO, president for Nintendo for 50 years or so. He just passed away a couple of years ago. But Tom Peters and Hiroshi Yamauchi are at Nintendo headquarters, are walking around, and they get to this area where they make the design the games, you know the Nintendo, right?
Yes,
Xbox or
yes.
whatever, Mario Brothers or whatever. Anyway, they get to this area where they design the games. As they're walking around, this young person comes out of a door and just slams into Yamauchi, and he bangs into him, and he's pretty embarrassed, so he apologizes. And he says, "Oh, Mr. Yamauchi, I'm so sorry. I just started working here. What shall I make?" Yamauchi says, "Something great," and walks off. Flow. That's what we need, man. Whatever it is, make it great. Make it great. Now, let me make the circle here. Mother Teresa, now Saint Teresa of Avila, says that we can do no great things, only small things with great love.
Wow.
That's my circle.
Oh my God.
Just about love.
Man, and that's one thing I think, especially as we open up this season, I think this is something that entrepreneurs, we have to get back to the love part of it. We have to not only fall in love with what we do, but show and express love to the ones that are around us. We have, some of us have teams, large teams, small teams that just want to go through and actually see that love and feel that love. And I think as entrepreneurs, we get a lot of times so focused on where we're going, where along the path we forget to enjoy the journey and make the journey enjoyable for others around us as well. And that's one thing I think, Chief, again, you made my Air Force journey enjoyable. I only served about 6 years in the military, and I really enjoyed that. It was some of the best years of my life. But you made it enjoyable, and it's enjoyable because of the people that I surrounded myself with and people that I became in contact with as well. And man, it was just an incredible
We got to give props to Bush, wherever he may be. Bush, man, right?
Man, and he was right there beside me, right there within that. At the Air Force Academy, I remember when you see Flo, you see Bush. You see Bush, you see Flo. And those are the type of things, just knowing that you have, that the iron sharpens the iron. That's one thing that we saw along the way. I know when we were out there, we wanted to make sure that we were going to try to be the best of whatever we could do within our career field. But just like I said, it takes a community. It takes a community for us to go through. And Chief, you've always been a part of my community since my Air Force days, and you continuously inspire me. Eventually, one day I'll be an author like you and Bush, like both of y'all are just writing the heck out of everything. Eventually, I'll go through and actually get that. But I'm just super proud about that. And before we leave, I want you to give one part and piece of advice to an individual, regardless of their entrepreneur, regardless of what they could be in college, they could be an entrepreneur, they could be an entrepreneur, they could be in the military, but give one part and piece of advice as far as when it comes to leadership that would encourage them along the way to keep going.
The key is to care, man. And everyone, how you express how you care to a person, to every person will be different. Cops love donuts. We all know that, right?
Yes.
Flo likes Chick-fil-A. So when you see Flo, you bring him Chick-fil-A, not donuts. Bush likes donuts. So they're all different. But I think, as Covey would say, we get hung up in the thick of thin things. We need to figure out what people are like, their story, their values if we can. But everyone's got something going on, man. We all have drama going on.
Yes.
What is that, and how can I help you get through that today? Because as you do that, again, it goes back to love. As you give that, that person will give you back. Wow. I have a friend who I used to give a hard time. I did it a lot until I found out that his son is autistic.
Wow.
And when I found that, man, it's like my life changed, because we used to mess around. We were guys, you know what I'm saying? And now we have a different respect for each other, especially for me, because he's got an autistic kid, man. And I don't know how to deal with that other than love. I care for you and what you're going through. How can I help? And everybody has that stuff. Everybody's got something going on. So if you're going to lead people or you're going to work with people, find out who they are, care as much as you can, however you can, and go with that, and just be kind. That's really important. Be kind.
Wow, those are definitely heartfelt words. And these are words that, of course, as we go along this journey we call life, these are things that we can go through and live by. You gave a lot of great principles. But before we leave, I want for anybody, of course, Chief speaks all around. He has different books that he's published as well. So Chief, if you can give out your website and any other way that individuals can get in contact with you, where your book's located, because I really want people to find out who Chief is and definitely be able to contact you if needed for speaking engagements or whatever.
Yeah, my books are on Amazon.com, and my name is spelled B-O-B, Bob, backwards or forwards, it doesn't matter, it's the same. Bob Vasquez, V as in Victor, A-S-Q-U-E-Z. And I can be reached at bobvasquez.com. It's simple enough. BOBVASQUEZ.com. And, you know, you can get to my page and send me an email or whatever, and we'll chat. Now, I hate to open myself up too much, but I will help anybody as much as I can.
Perfect. And that's one thing is, y'all, his information are in the show notes, and reach out to him. Definitely get his books as well. And look like my little lady wants to say hey to the chief.
Oh, man, air power right there.
Say hey, Chief. Say hey, Chief.
Hey, maybe you can loan your daddy some of that hair. That's beautiful.
I was trying to go through and actually do something with it today. Oh my gosh, she has a big heart as well. That's Chief. That's Chief. But y'all,
that's why we do it, man. That's why we do it right there,
brother. And that's one thing that she's my wife. She's my wife, and my daughter's my wife. I know I have like 2 minutes before this recording goes off. What piece of advice would you give? You're a family man. Give me what piece of advice would you give to a family man along this journey? Because you had a 31 plus year journey raising kids, etc. What advice would you give to the family man?
Just love them, man. Just love them. You know, when it's time to love them, turn off all your gear, okay? I literally, Simon Sinek, I made a pact with him that I would not carry my iPhone with me whenever I'm with Deb. And I don't. For 4 years or so, I have not carried it with me when we go out to lunch or anything like that. Because that means I can love, no kidding, unconditionally for that period of time that I'm with her, because I'm not with her all the time. Yes. You know, so the baby, you know, when it's time to love her, when you're done here, love her. Turn all the garbage off and just be with her. Even if you don't do nothing, you know, just hang with her. Hug her, man, because one day you're going to miss that hug. I can guarantee you.
Wow. Well, there you have you guys. Hey, Chief, we appreciate you coming on board. I'm super excited about you. Definitely you all go through and follow him. Go through and check out his website. Read some of his books as well. And Chief, as always, man, we really appreciate it. And definitely going to keep you in the loop on our journey as well, okay?
God bless you, brother.
All right. Thanks so much, Chief.